Thank you for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi, with my guest, Marie-Laure Landais. I'm super excited that she is joining us today. She's going to share a little bit about who she is and what she does and how she can help you. Take it away, Marie.
Thank you so much, Tammi, for having me in your show. Heard so much good stuff about it. Yes, so first and foremost, what I do, I want to say that I'm a writer before anything else.
Awesome.
That was my long life dream since I was like 4 years old, and I understood that it was people like you and I that was writing the books, that my mother would read me. So I made that happen. So I have a few books out there and also collaboration. So that's what gives me the most joy personally. And then I also like to help people and support them. So I've been a healer for 30 years now, and a coach. I coach soul entrepreneurs, so people with an idea that had an impact in their community. And now I've connected, that part of energy work, healing, and everything that I do there, and the coaching, like the impact that I want to see in the world. My mission is I want to live in a world that works for everyone, no one left behind. And of course, I cannot take on all the causes out there and give money to everyone and all that. But the way I help people is that I make sure that you find your inner alignment, like what really makes your heart sing, and you can self-actualize inside of that. So in other words, people say, find your purpose and make it happen. But I like to go deeper, because having your purpose out there, and living on purpose, sometimes we forget that the body needs rest.
Yes.
Sometimes we forget that the mind needs a little bit of freshen up sometimes.
Yes.
So for me, alignment is truly an alignment, body, mind, and heart. So, and I would say that 75% of my job is to remind people to take care of their bodies. And when your body is taken care of and the rhythms are in sync, you become more impactful, and you have to work a little bit less, because there's not all that chatter in the mind, because life.
Yes.
In a minute, that's what I do.
Yes. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when you experience, and I know that you probably have lots of clients that have dealt with this, and you probably have dealt with this yourself, but what happens when you have all this mind chatter going on, this stuff that's going on, because maybe you are at this place where you're trying to manifest something and you're doing all the things, all the things that people tell you to do, and all the law of attraction and all these things that you're doing, but you still have this mind chatter, something going on inside your head. Like you can't seem to just get past or get beyond. What do you say to those people, and how do you help them to resolve that?
Yeah, one thing is that I tell them the bad news is that, yeah, the mind will never stop.
Yes.
Okay, the mind will never stop. But at the same time, there is another part of our being that I call the witness. I didn't invent that. You can find that in all the scriptures in any religion and countries. So yes. Witness. What is the thing that says, oh, I'm sad now. Oh, I had a good sleep. Oh, I dreamt a lot last night. Like there's a part that is completely unaffected and unattached that can describe actually what happens. But it's mixed and collapsed with the emotions, with the mind. And the mind will fuel and amplify the emotions. And of course, if your emotions amplifies, the thoughts are like, oh my God, it's too much. I cry too much. I'm too angry. I'm too this. I'm not enough that. So they feed each other, like the emotions and the thoughts. So the idea is to come back to a place where you don't make yourself wrong for having the thoughts, for having the chatter, for feeling and all that. And that is the witness. But it's not like, I know that some people like, oh, where do I find the witness? Now I can hear you, like, so I can stay there and be great and blissful. Of course, you cannot be sitting in meditation for 24 hours a day, but there are a few ways, you can stop the madness for a moment. And it's to become present to yourself and to get into the space of observing. So that's the only thing to get to the witness. You sit, take a few deep breaths, and you just observe what's going on. The moment you start to do that, and usually I say, start with the body. What's going on in my body? That actually will give the mind something to do instead of run around with whatever, and especially if you do a little bit of anxiety or you have fears or, like things are going and you feel unsettled, stopping, take a few deep breaths and then connect. So like connect, like if you have a feeling, that, or you're unsettled, where is unsettled feels in my body, like physically?
Yes.
And usually your mind or your awareness will be attracted to a place in your body where maybe there's a little bit of contraction, a pain or something, So the main pain points in the body, usually when you have stress, it's here, like in the neck.
Yes.
Because you have a lot of energy that happens here and a lot of energy that happens down there, like under the I would say the belly, like your legs and all that. So there's a lot that happens here, but if it's not connected here, it's kind of contract here. And the other part, yeah, well, I said it before, but it's the lower back. And then, the body speaks a lot, the knees, all the articulations, those spaces usually like they absorb the stress. But if you keep avoiding just sitting for a minute, not 2 hours, just a minute, take a deep breath and be like, okay, like, yeah, I feel stressed out. Where is that in my body? And then, oh, okay. Then you give a little bit of attention there, not shaming yourself for feeling the stress, just observing, just being with. And it's the same thing with emotions. When you feel something, and we are very quick at dismissing our feelings.
Yes.
And we do that with children also, when they have some kind of feelings, like, oh, but that's just a movie, it's not real. Or we tell ourselves, oh, I'm so silly, that's nothing, and I'm crying all that water. Stop dismissing, okay? The tears will last a few minutes. That's your heart transmuting the feelings into love, into compassion, into energy that you need to be in your purpose, okay? You're a human being. You're a human being, perfect in all dimensions. The feelings are natural. The mind will never stop thinking. Give yourself a break, give the mind a break, sit with yourself and just acknowledge the perfection of it all. I know it's not easy. And I know that people like they fight me on this. Yeah, but I don't have like you 30 years of meditation and all that. I still struggle with that every day, like I'm a human being. Yeah. It's just that I catch myself quicker when I start to dismiss myself or I try to avoid a feeling. Sometimes I'm just like, oh, there's something going on. I don't want to deal with it right now. Yes. Instead of just being like, oh no, it's just like, not right now. But also I'm thinking, but I'm not going to avoid it before I go to bed, like I sit before I go to bed, like, okay, what's present? And usually, it's like, yeah, a little resistance, a little stress or something. And then I can feel the bubble. Sometimes I cry and I'm like, and I feel my body open up. Because the more you keep things inside, it's not because you avoid them that they disappear. Just repress them, and then they become ailments in the body.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I can tell you about it.
Yes. Tell us about it.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I was a super productive executive before everything, you know. I raised 3 children on my own. So, you know, I made sure that I had a good job, that my talents would be out there. But I worked from, you know, 8 in the morning until late at night, meetings, other, you know, commitments. I was involved, you know, in my community. I helped young mothers. I helped families. I was a counselor for teenagers, and all kinds of other things I did, plus taking care of my children, putting them through college. Yes, I put them into college. And then, you know, it was like my body held on to all the stress. And even if I was meditating, even if, you know, like some of the practices and all that. Oh yeah, one thing I have to say is that I came out of, you know, childhood and teenage years with trauma, with PTSD from my childhood. And, you know, like now I think we're more aware that when there's family violence and abuse,
Yes.
we know that it has an impact on the children, even if the children weren't it or abused. But if one of the parents were abused by the other, it has an impact.
Yes.
So that was my case. And then, you know, and other things. So, but they were just like, but she seems fine. Yes, I was well adjusted, you know.
Yes.
I was the nice kid because my father made sure that I would not say anything. I would be proper, polite, and I would not tell whatever was going on. But I was traumatized.
Yes.
So I had children. I raised my children in my 20s, 30s, and my body was holding on to the stress of all the traumas that were never dealt with. Of course, a few things, you know, but, and then I hit the wall. You know, I think sometimes I'm like, it's because when my children, my youngest daughter, she hit 18 years old, there was something in my brain that said, okay, you know, she can sign her own papers, she can take care of herself. I don't have to take, you know, like the burden of, you know, of the responsibility of everything. So I'm good. And then it's like, you know, when you're going to vacation and the first few days you're sick.
Yes.
Like all life was taken out of myself, you know, like, oh my God, I cannot do this anymore. And I still went on. Because when you're running for the wall so fast, you don't know how to stop.
Right.
The only way to stop is to freaking hit the wall. So I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer like 4 years ago. Wow. They removed one of my breasts. And it was at the moment, of course, you know, like cancer. Oh my God, cancer, you know, I'm gonna die. And it's like, you know, and everybody's going like crazy and we have all the feelings. And I had all the feelings and all that. And at some point, when they removed it, I remember the day after the surgery, I was there and I was like, I don't feel it anymore. It's like I have released like the pain, the suffering, the traumas, the stress, and everything. Yes. I have released that completely. It's gone with the tumor that was actually my old breast, you know. And then I was like, but you know, in life, I'm not a pessimist, you know.
Yes.
I make, you know, I laugh for silly things and I make fun of almost everything. So I made fun of the chemotherapy. Like, I think that people were like stop her, you know. I was going for treatments and I was with one of my daughters and we would laugh all along. We would tell jokes and we would say stuff. And
yes,
if I had a moment or something and she would just make fun of me. And it was just so marvelous because I was like, you're not going to pump poison in my body. You know, I'm going to pump something else at the same time. You know, I'm going to channel a little bit of joy and vibrancy and
Yes.
stuff, you know, like that's my part in the whole thing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I understand, you know, and more than just understanding, when people come to see me and they're like, I don't know where I am, they feel that they're scattered all over the place, you know, and they don't know how to bring all this back home, you know, and feel whole and complete again.
Yes.
So I understand what it is to be all over the place, to give your energy everywhere, to have a little bit there, a little bit there, and then things fall apart. I have things crashing around me. Like when the cancer hit, it felt that my whole life, everything was held by a little thread, you know, and it started to pop down. I had to clear relationships. And when I say clear relationship, I didn't say remove people. I had to tell people, right now, things are going to change. I'm not going to be doing this anymore. I'm not going to be pleasing anymore.
Yes.
It's like priority is this. Do you want to stay or not? And I gave people a choice.
Oh, that's good.
You know, because the love didn't disappear because I discovered that I was surrounded by people vampirizing my energy. I allowed it.
Yes.
So I just created a new dynamic. And then I invited people into the new dynamic with me.
Oh, that's,
and of course,
I like
there's
that.
less people around me, but it's fine because I don't need to have my energy all over the place, you know? And of course, at some point, I needed to be alone with myself and look at myself in the mirror and be like, whoa, that's not pretty, you know? I had, a deep pit of self-hatred that was hidden underneath everything that finally got uncovered when I started to look. And, you know, people are like, no, but you were always so joyful and all that. Yes. And I was so well adjusted, and I have a lot of strategies not to feel anxiety, not to feel the stress, not to feel anything. And that comes from childhood, of course. But, you know, no, I don't have any anxiety. I don't feel anything. That's what's supposed to be my cue, because we think that anxiety, we need to feel like something in our guts or something, you know. Sometimes we don't feel because we numb it, you know, disconnect. I was disconnected from the body, you know, but I was so productive and so, you know, amazing at everything I touched. But I was dying a little bit more inside every time I would say yes to someone else and support their projects and support their business and make them win. You know, now I'm making you win, but I also win.
We are so similar, because this is the same place that I came to, because I said, people say that about me. Oh, you're always so happy and joyful and this and that. You know, you just don't have any stress. You don't have any problems. And I'm looking at them like, you just don't know. You know, or they say, you just, or people love to say this, well, you just ain't never been through nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I have. And I wrote a book about it. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I choose joy.
Yes.
You know, now I choose joy. And also, just like you said, you know, allow only the people in my circle that I allow in my circle that are, you know, having the same type of energy and not trying to just siphon and suck and drain the shit out of mine. So yeah, I got you with that. So go ahead.
Yeah. And it's very important what you say about choosing.
Yes.
Because every moment is a choice. You know, when I was going through the treatments, and, you know, I had 6 months of chemotherapy and then a full month and a half of radiation. And, you know, when you start, you're like, yay, I'm a warrior, I'm going to get through this and la la. And then as the weeks go by, you know, you have less and less energy. Your immune system is going down. You have, you know, waking up in the morning, I was just like, okay, if I can just get up and go to the sofa, oh my, I've accomplished something. My measure of success was if I could make my bed in the morning.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes I would sit there like, okay, I need food right now. And then 3 hours passed and I hadn't moved from my chair, you know, and I had angels around me. You know, there was a restaurant right across my place. And sometimes the manager, he would text me, have you had food, you know, tonight? And then like, no, not yet. And he's like, come, we have something for you, you know? And I was like, oh my God, you know? And sometimes I would just arrive at the door, you know, at night, and he was like, yeah, come. And he would put something in front of me. And then when I can think again, he would say, okay, what do you want to eat now? But he would give me something to nibble just to bring a little bit of life. But, you know, I had to choose every freaking minute of my life at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like this minute, I choose.
Yeah.
I'm not making it wrong. I have no energy. I cannot think. I don't remember the name of my children.
Yeah.
I choose. You know, I'm exhausted. I choose.
Yes.
In life, we're always trying to find the perfect thing and we fantasize. The first thing we do is with our parents, we do that. I wish my mother was more like yours. I wish my father would do this with me on weekends. I wish my nana. And then we put our parents like, yeah, you're not the perfect parents. I would like this parents. And then we make them wrong for not being what our fantasy, you know, created.
Right.
So this is your mother, choose. So instead of fighting the mother you're having, choose her. Yes. And then see what happens. The mind will never stop, but if you stop fighting reality, you'll have a little bit more space for the thoughts you really want to have and thinking the things you want to think.
That is powerful.
That's a trick.
It is. It really is. It really is.
Yeah. So choose right now. You know, like a few months ago in January, the doctor said, Marie-Laure, I'm sorry, but cancer is back. And then I had all the feelings and everything. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit anymore. Take me. How long do I have? You know, 2-3 years. Okay, that's enough to put things in order and, you know, be done and all that. And I chose that space. And I know it's scary sometimes for people, you know, our loved ones to hear that we just want to give up. Actually, I wasn't giving up. I was just choosing the feelings that I was having. Yes. You know, like I'm so tired. I gave everything. And then what? I end my life, you know, sick and tired. Like, where's all the joy and stamina that I was creating for myself?
Yes.
Where is all that? And then I chose that. And then I chose the next day. And then I chose the pain in my body. And then I chose the freaking medication that I have to take every day for the rest of my life, you know? And then in the morning, and the more you choose those moments, even if they're not happy things, the more you stop fighting them, because even if you fight them, they're still there. I still have to take the damn pill. Now, when I take the pill, I'm like, this is for my vibrant health. I chose this. Mm-hmm. Just like the chemo, you know, I had my, you know, I do my part. And I have the practices in the morning that make sure that I am fully connected with my body, that I'm in sync with my body. I was supposed to be in a lot of pain. And I know if I don't do the practices one morning, I go around like a freaking 200-year-old woman, you know, I cannot walk and this and all that. I just need 5 minutes. I get immobile. I take a deep breath. I honor my body. I breathe. And until I feel that my body is awake, I'm right there. I'm connected back to my heart. And I bring my thoughts to my heart. What am I about? What am I committed to? What's my commitment for the world? What's my commitment for myself? for my loved ones, and I bring that into presence. And then I get out of bed, no pain, ready to go, honoring the rhythm. Sometimes I can do a lot more things. Sometimes I'm a bit slower. I honor that.
Yes.
I don't push myself because I have all these things to do. Oh no. I choose the moment and my capacity in the moment.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Choose the moment and your capacity in the moment. I love that. It's just like so amazing.
Yeah, because otherwise, what are you doing? You're always chasing the perfect circumstances, the perfect things align for you to, I'm going to do this when I have the money, when I have the partner, when my kids get this, when I have my new toaster, whatever. Instead of just being right here, this is what I've got. This is the capacity I have. I honor that. And when you do that, it's very interesting, but it kind of open your mind to, oh, but there's this too. I can use this. And then your capacity expand a little bit more. We are trying to be masterful at things even when we start. That's the chasing. I will give you an example that I think will make it clear for everyone. Okay.
Yes.
So, a kid, when they start, they crawl and then they stand up and they're trying to walk. So that's around a year old, give and take. Some it's a bit before, some it's a bit after, but around 1 year old. And then you look at them, it's marvelous. They stand up, they do one thing, they fall on the floor, they try again, they do that all freaking day. And then they run around, they crawl around, and then whoops, they're up again. And then until we're there with our camera, he's walking. And then they're like, oh yes, I'm walking, and then they fall again. So then they get up on their wobbly legs until the legs are strong enough for the motion of walking. And the moment you get the motion, you don't think about it anymore. I'm sure that in the morning when you get up, you're not thinking, oh, how do I walk? Let me try. No, you get up, you walk.
Right.
So now we take things in our life. We start something, whether it's a new business, whether it's a new relationship or anything, a new job. And we're like the kid with the wobbly legs. We stand on our two legs and then we fall. Most of us, do you know what we do? I'll never be able to do it. I quit. And then we quit. Can you imagine if at 1 year old, you had freaking quit the first time you fell on your ass when, you couldn't walk the first time? You would still be crawling.
Wow.
So give yourself the space to master something, to expand your capacity. Yeah. You don't have to have the right answer right away, but start somewhere and then honor the steps, one after the other. And it's not, like the process or the journey is the thing. It's not about that. It's giving yourself grace.
Yes. Yes, that is so important. Yeah. That is so important. And it doesn't matter where you are in the process. You can still give yourself grace.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So my whole message in all that is stop making yourself wrong.
Yes.
Everybody screams, let's have compassion for one another. Have compassion for yourself first. It's going to be very much more easier to have compassion for everybody else. I think RuPaul says something like that, love yourself and, it's going to be easier to love everybody else. But it's the same thing. If you don't have compassion for yourself, you're going to see the flaws in everybody else. And your life will be about pointing out the flaws and complaining about your life instead of nurturing what you discover about yourself as you find compassion for the parts of you that, I'm like that. Okay.
Yes.
How do I transform this for myself? How do I expand on that? How do I let go of this? Usually the answer is quite easy. It's not easy to do. It's let go of something, like we have a hook in the past. That's one of the things I do with people. I have a great package that I call the time warp.
Mhm.
It's like we reclaim the things we left in the past.
Yeah.
Usually it's our creativity, it's our innocence, it's our joyful nature that we have as a kid. Something happened and we got shut down and we left that part over there. And now we're chasing it. How come I was so joyful when I was a joyful kid and then life happened? So in energy work, I do that with you. We go back and we reclaim it in that situation or whatever happened. And you can bring it back here in the present and then use it for your future, you know?
That's powerful work.
Yeah.
Because we all have that though. It's not limited to just people who are in the light or awakened or any of that stuff. We all have that, because we were all joyful as kids on some level. Even if we were going through trauma and traumatic experiences, we still had a place that we could go to where we could be joyful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's life.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your book real quick.
I want to talk about books. We have another hour. Yeah. So, okay. So I have a novel in French. So if you speak French for some, it's out there. I have 2 poetry collection. That's the gift that I gave to myself. I know that poetry, people don't read poetry except scholars or whatever, but so I have one in French, one in English. It's not a translation. I have 2 different voices, one in French, one in English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that one is Remind Me of You. So it's a collection of poems that I've written through the years. And now I'm working on 2 books. One is a series of short stories that are a bit weird, bizarre on body parts. So I do that with another writer. So we have a lot of fun. And if everything goes according to plan, it's out this fall. And my other book, which is a nonfiction, is the book about that healing, like I go through the whole thing. When I got the diagnosis, when I told my children, when I went through the treatments, how I chose those moments, what I did to nurture myself, to reconnect with my body, with my heart. So that's all in the book. But I really want this book to support people in, like we like to figure out what's going on with ourselves,
Yes.
So I try to put there, like the intimate feelings around having the poison, like dripped into my body, how that's a lot of question that I had. How does it feel, like to get chemotherapy? We don't like to ask that of people going through the thing, but 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 I was just like, ask all the question. How is it to live with only one breast? Am I still feminine? Do I still feel myself all incomplete and all that? So I expose that in the book, but also I help people. When you support someone going through a challenge like this, like it can be cancer or something else, but we know health, it's very emotional for people.
Yes.
Our health, because we feel weak, we feel we're not all together, we don't have all our capacities. I know, because I was super productive, and then I was like, I cannot do anything anymore. So it's really about that, that how we can remove all the heaviness around the disease and bring healing in a space where, I don't know how to say it, but healing is not about the dark stuff or the dark feelings or anything. Healing is about, like the recovery of self. I
was going to say connecting.
Yes, the reconnection with spirit inside of you, with the parts of you that were scattered. Like, so for me, it was through that. For other people, it's like they break their legs and it takes years to recover. For other people, it's they lose their job or they divorce, whatever the situation. But anyway, so in the book, it's like I try to bring that. How do you bring compassion to yourself when you're going through crisis like this? So this one is a health crisis, but how can you support your people, like stop dismissing others people feeling, like oh, but that's
Yes.
or because we're uncomfortable being with, so there's a lot in there. And I had a group of readers, while I was writing and putting it together, the book. And I made sure that I got the feedback around that. And then I have some people that were in those group of readers, before the book is out this year. And they're like, oh, one of my friends just got diagnosed with cancer. And now I know that, I can be firm and present instead of being uncomfortable, not knowing how can I help them, what do they need, but am I intruding, that kind of energy is just like, get away. But when someone comes firm, like, you're going through this, I'm there for you, what do you need? Instead of trying to project, like, you should eat green juice, you should eat this, you should take vitamin
Yes.
Why are you doing chemotherapy? Because the big pharma. And I was like, no, that's not what I need. I need the people to be there and love me right now.
Yes.
So, yeah. So it's all in the book.
That is so exciting. What is the name of the book?
So the last title right now that we're working with is Strip Naked.
Okay.
And probably a little tagline underneath, but nothing comes right now. So
okay, sounds good. I cannot wait. I'm super excited. And I know that our listeners are chomping at the bits, waiting for it as well. Because I know the type of people that are watching. It's like, they're ready to, experience that. Because one thing about when you read a book, if you write it well, you take the reader into your experience. And they actually are waiting to see what is happening next. And that is, to me, that's one of the most amazing things I love about writing. I'm also writing another book as well. So I'm like, as I do this, it's like, okay, how can I bring them into this world? Because that is why we read. Mm-hmm. I started reading as a child because I wanted to go places. Yes. And these books took me places, right? And I know you and I are very.
Yes.
So I know that was you as well. It's like they took you places, you went places. And then, if you were like me, I started doing some astral traveling as a child. And I started going to some of those places. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but that's what it was. My grandmother and I went to Paris, and we've never been in life, but we astral traveled together to Paris. And I thought it was so neat. I really haven't shared that. However, this has been an amazing, amazing, amazing time. I have enjoyed it so much. And I know that you that are listening or watching have enjoyed it as well. So let the people know where they can connect with you if they are looking to hire you as a soul
alignment guide.
Yes. They're ready, and they hear what you're saying, and they know that they need you, and they are connecting on that visceral level. Let them know how they can connect with you. Where are the best places to find you?
Yes. Well, one of the best places is probably on Facebook. So my page, The Soul Listener. Yes, I listen to you. So I'm trained in listening. So if that's a thing, yes, it's a thing. So I'm trained in listening. So The Soul Listener on Facebook. So you can find me there, can send me a message, and we go from there. Some people, they find, with my name, you can find me on Facebook. Also, you can send me a message there. That's a good way to find me. Probably there's a link, one of my links underneath this video. So click the links, you'll find them also.
Yes.
Yeah. But The Soul Listener, that's me. That's me.
Yes, that's you. So I'm super grateful for everyone that is listening and that's watching. And I am so deeply, deeply grateful to Marie for coming on here, because I just knew that I wanted to talk to her, and I knew that I wanted her to get in front of this audience and share all of her goodness and all of her blessings, because that is the way I feel right now. Is like I feel like I have been blessed, and I know that that is probably the way that you all feel as well. So thank you so much for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi, with my guest Marie-Laure Landais. And she has just been such a beauty, such an amazing spirit. She is beautiful inside and out. And so, if you are ready to step into that, contact her and connect with her at the Soul Listener, because she definitely has that down, and she can actually help guide you through all kinds of transitions and places that you need to get to. So again, thank you for joining us on Straight Outta Savannah, talking with Tammi. Bye now.